Welcome to the Lafarge Build a Better Home Roadshow. In partnership with our retailers, we will be sharing expert knowledge on building matters, ensuring we keep building better cities in Zambia together. Module 4. Achieving a perfect plaster finish. Plastering a wall is a highly effective way to protect it from water and wind damage. The smoother your plastered wall turns out, the better it will look and the easier it will be to paint. So follow these instructions carefully to get a perfect plaster finish. Let's start with what you will need to achieve that perfect plaster finish. Lafarge Mpamvu cement, sand, a garden hose, water, a bucket, a plastering hawk or flat board, a trowel, paint brushes, and plastic sheeting. So let's do this step by step. Step 1. Prepare the wall. If the wall has previously been plastered, start by removing as much as possible of the old plaster. If you're plastering an internal wall, clear out the room and cover the floor with plastic sheeting. Next, wet the wall using a garden hose. Step 2. Mix the plaster. Mix 1 part Lafarge Mpamvu cement with 6 parts sand. Use the same bucket to measure the cement and sand. Add just enough water to create a stiff, workable plaster with no lumps. Remember, plaster sets very quickly, so only mix 1 small batch at a time. Measure your cement, sand and water carefully so you get the same mix in every batch. Step 3. Apply the plaster. Scrape a trowel full of plaster onto a plastering hawk or small board. Now transfer half of the plaster onto your trowel. Start from the bottom of the wall and use smooth strokes to press the plaster onto the wall. The coat should be just thick enough to cover the wall. Keep applying plaster over the entire wall and don't worry about any uneven areas or holes at this stage. To avoid pulling plaster off the wall, always keep the trowel at a slight angle to the wall at the end of each stroke. Step 4. Smooth the surface. The next step is to level and smooth the surface to an even thickness. This can only be done once your plaster is slightly drier, but still damp enough to work with. It usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes for the plaster to reach this stage. Sweep a clean, dampened trowel blade across the wall, smoothing the plaster. Hold the trowel at a slight angle with only one edge of the plaster to create a perfectly smooth finish. If necessary, use a wet paintbrush to dampen the plaster as you work. Step 5. Dry and polish the surface. Leave the plaster to dry for another 30 minutes. Wet the face of your trowel and flick water onto the wall with a paintbrush so your trowel can float over the surface. Finally, use a damp paintbrush to finish edges and corners neatly. Thank you for watching and good luck with your project. Lafarge, building better cities.